Good afternoon and welcome back to our news bulletin, coming to you live from Warsaw. I'm Salia Stremska. And we begin with more deadly Russian attacks in Ukraine. Today, 2 people were killed in Nikopol by artillery shelling, while another strike hit Dnipro last night, killing 3 civilians, including a child, and injuring 30 others. Let's bring in our correspondent Oskarji, who is in Kiev. Good afternoon, Oz. Good to see you. So can you tell us more about these recent attacks?
Yeah, large-scale attacks continuing across Ukraine. Dnipro, obviously, is in central Ukraine, not far from Nikopol itself. Actually, that's down towards the south. So that's shelling, because Nikopol is a lot closer to the front line than Dnipro is. So it's been quite heavily targeted, like Kherson is, by Russian forces who are parked not far away. Now, President Zelensky, again, using the opportunity from these attacks to call for more support from his Western partners, saying every defense package from partners for Ukraine now, every form of support from the world for our resilience is literally protecting lives, because these are daily bombings now causing large-scale casualties across Ukraine. It's not just the parts of the east of the country, Donetsk, that are being affected. North of the country, Sumy, center of the country, Dnipro, south of the country, Kherson, Odessa. These places are being routinely targeted, and Ukraine is running out of air defense munitions. They're reaching a point where they will need to be resupplied with Patriot systems from the United States, which the United States hasn't agreed to resupply them with yet. So we're reaching a critical point with these attacks that soon they will start overwhelming the air defense in even larger numbers and causing even larger civilian casualties than we've been seeing over the last few days. Really tragic numbers of people being killed by Russia.
To be worried about. Oskarji reporting from Kiev. Thank you. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff began talks in Paris to put an end to Russia's aggression on Ukraine. This informal meeting marks the first significant dialogue between transatlantic allies in several months. Our EU correspondent Angela Skujins has been following these developments. Hi Angela, good to see you. So what do we know thus far?
Yes, so what we know is the French President Emmanuel Macron welcomed those US emissaries from US President Donald Trump. We're talking about the special envoy, Steve Witkoff, as well as the top diplomat, Marco Rubio, to the Palace, Élysée Palace, roughly at 2 o'clock this afternoon. This is the latest that we have regarding these high-level dialogues, so we can only assume that the talks are ongoing. But we know from a press release from the White House that the point of these top US officials being in Paris is that they push US President Donald Trump's agenda regarding his hopes to end the war in Ukraine and to, quote, stop the bloodshed. A lot of this, however, is under wraps. We know that another meeting took place earlier this morning between those US officials as well as senior politicians from the German, French and UK foreign ministries, but we have no idea regarding what came out of those talks. So we're all waiting with bated breath for a hopeful press conference which will be scheduled later for today regarding potential outcomes. But we have a press release from the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry released after that earlier discussion today, where they said that these talks will really centre on finding a sustainable end to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, as well as shoring up a multinational contingency to ensure a safe and long-lasting peace. Many are seeing this as the coalition of the willing. These are those 30 countries that have bandied together to ensure that peace can be long-lasting, whether this is through the provision of security guarantees or other amenities. But we also know that Steve Witkoff met with the Russian President Vladimir Putin late last week in St. Petersburg, and he was reportedly told of that leader's intentions to agree potentially to a ceasefire if Russia can hang on to at least 5 Ukrainian territories. We know that this is a red line for Kyiv that they do not want to cross, so we're expecting those European counterparts to push against this today. But as I said before, we have no real confirmation of what these talks really will centre on, so we're waiting for that press conference later. But when that comes in, we'll report on that for you. That's all from me. I'll send it back to you in Warsaw.
Angela Skorzyn is reporting from Brussels. Thank you, and of course we'll keep checking in with Angela for the latest updates. Radosław Sikorski, Poland's foreign minister, said that he is rooting for Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Meloni will meet US President Donald Trump in Washington on Thursday. She will be the first EU leader to do so since Trump announced tariffs on EU products, which were later suspended for 90 days.
Of course, we support Prime Minister Meloni. She represents a responsible and ethical approach when it comes to the Russian aggression against Ukraine. When it comes to this issue, as well as the issue regarding tariffs, I hope she will convince President Trump.
The Polish National Prosecutor's Office has launched a probe into the mysterious disappearance of prominent Belarusian opposition activist Angelika Melnikowa. Polish counterintelligence is investigating potential leads. Media outlets have reported a number of possible motives behind the disappearance. One is embezzlement from opposition fundraisers. Others include alleged espionage or kidnapping by foreign intelligence services. Angelika Melnikowa is the chairwoman of the Belarusian Coordination Council, an opposition body that aims to aid the democratic transition in Belarus. Melnikowa went missing on March 25th after reportedly traveling to London. Since then, her ex-husband and two daughters have been allegedly found in Belarus. Melnikowa's associates claim that her phone is also on Belarusian soil. Commenting on the disappearance of Mrs. Melnikowa, senior political advisor to Swiatłana Cichanouskaja, Franek Wieczorka, said on TVP World that it is mysterious and leaves more questions than answers.
All scenarios are possible right now. Definitely this disappearance is mysterious. It gives more questions than answers. Definitely Angelika is not the person who can just disappear without giving information to her friends or family. So we think that definitely Lukashenko's secret services might be involved in that. What was that? The result of pressure, the result of blackmail? We don't know, and we are thankful to Polish authorities for launching this probe, for launching this investigation. Maybe it will shed more light to this case.
And now on a domestic note, the contract for the first section of a road leading to Poland's first nuclear power plant has been signed. Polish ministers of infrastructure and industry held a press briefing to mark this occasion. Our reporter Karolina Stolzman was there and has more.
With this signature, the road to Poland's first nuclear power plant begins. However, there is still a long way to go before the facility will be fully operational. The road that the contract details is supposed to be opened in 2028. This road will be crucial when it comes to the construction of Poland's first nuclear power plant, as it will facilitate the delivery of necessary materials and equipment to build the project. Currently, coal is the pillar of Poland's energy production, but it comes with its own set of challenges, such as costs and environmental issues. With high extraction costs and the environmental concerns, the Polish government is seeking an alternative energy source, and this opens the door to the nuclear power plant project. During the signing of the contract, recent words of Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk were also discussed. He recently spoke about what he called a repolonization of Polish economy, and what he meant by those words was prioritizing Polish interests when it comes to businesses and economy.
I am very pleased that Polish companies won the tender. This strongly aligns with Prime Minister Donald Tusk's call for repolonization or economic patriotism of Poland and support for Polish entrepreneurs.
We have a dedicated local content program that lists Polish companies eligible to take part in the development of Poland's nuclear energy sector.
Every major investment, such as the country's first nuclear power plant, must start small. And the contract details that the road leading to the project, leading to the facility, will be opened in 2028, which is exactly when the Polish government aims to start the construction of the power plant itself. From Warsaw for TVP World, Karolina Stolzman.
And that's a wrap for this news bulletin. The bottom line with Ashim Kumar coming up next.